Thankful you can be with us here on this Friday, completing another work week, and I trust that you've seen the Lord work this week. Every day, every week ought to be a great privilege to serve the Lord, and we need to stay encouraged in Him. Oh, we can have discouraging things happen, and we certainly see it everywhere right now. I never could have dreamed when we first started these little times together that there would be this continual increase in the problems that we're becoming aware of. But I think they've been there anyway, and now it's just like the layer has come off of covering some of those things, and they've just come forth as a geyser. But we need to realize that the encouragement that comes in our lives, it does not come from circumstances being right. It comes from our own heart being right with God, and having that encouragement that our lives are counting, that we are in full fellowship with Him, that we are in His care, and all is well. And we can actually have that. So many believers just think, well, it's inevitable. I'm going to have rough times in my life, that I'm not going to really do well. I'm going to inevitably sin. I'm going to inevitably disappoint the Lord. Well, it's true. We have the flesh until we die. There is no perfect sanctification, but there can be ongoing application of the receiving of what Christ has already done for us. Romans 6 is the great chapter that speaks of our identification with Christ on the cross and in His resurrection. And therefore, sin does not need to have dominion over us. Very clearly, we find that in this tremendous chapter. And then we read in verse 22, but now being made free from sin. Sin does not have to have the inevitable power over you. Yes, you have the flesh. Yes, you have the body of sin. But your spirit has been regenerated and been given eternal and spiritual life, and you are sealed and indwelt by the mighty Spirit of God. And therefore, you do not need to sin if you trust God. We are free from that dominating power of sin. That's why it says that we are no longer under the dominion of sin. Verse 14, for sin shall not have dominion over you, for you are not under the law, but under God's empowering grace. And here we are now free from sin, and that means we can serve the Lord. Our lives can count. Instead of serving sin, we have the opportunity through the power of God to make the choice to make our lives count by being His servants. And our fruit then of our life is holiness. Can you imagine that? We can have lives marked by holy fruit that will last forever. Well, that's encouraging. And so I'd encourage you here on this Friday to check your thinking process. Just ask yourself, what do I really believe about the potential for victory? Am I just in a cycle of a lot of defeat and some victory and up and down? Or do I really believe every day that I am free from sin positionally because of what Christ has done, and therefore I can live in victory? I do not have to have sin to be my master. In fact, I can serve the Lord. I am free from sin, and I can live a holy life. That is your inheritance in Christ. That's encouraging. And so when we are in our spirits just joyfully in full communion with God, it doesn't matter what's going on around us, because that's the biggest battle. Those are the circumstances that really matter. You're only going to really get discouraged by what's happening around you if you're discouraged in your own personal relationship with God. And so I want to encourage you to understand that today the biggest battle is not what's going to be fought out there. It's going to be what's fought inside your own heart. And you are already the victor because you are in Christ. You're more than a conqueror. Claim the great truth that you are free from sin, that your life can bear fruit to holiness, and you can impact eternity if you will serve the Lord. May God encourage us with this great truth.